What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Sorry we won't be having our live stream. As soon as we get underway, I am going to try and see how well the Wi-Fi actually works on the ship. Everything on this ship is actually run by the internet, and you've got this is your key and stuff. So I was having a discussion with some of my shipmates. I've got Eagle fans and 49er fans, so I've got some arrogance that's here. But we were having a conversation about football and how it's changed. See, my point being is, back in the 90s, the Dallas Cowboys, because they could spend more money than just about anybody else, they ended up keeping a roster, and also to some of the other rules. The way they had it was, you could basically stash guys on injured reserve and things like that. The Cowboys were 2 and 3 players deep in most positions, and because they had that money that they could spend, they had kind of an unfair advantage. I know it's hard for me to say that, but they did have an advantage over other teams because of being able to do that. Some of the poorer market teams didn't have that same money. That's where Jerry Jones was, putting the Nike swoop on Texas Stadium. So they came up with a salary cap to try and balance it all out. But in some regards, that's kind of been thrown out the window because of the new devices and things that have happened. What you're basically seeing is teams now buying the Super Bowl. You can actually look at that and you can say the Eagles basically in 2017 were the beginning of that, where they went through, they made a whole bunch of trades, they kept bringing in all this talented things and ended up winning that first Super Bowl. But then you saw Tampa Bay bring in Tom Brady, they bring in Gronk, they bring in Ndamukong Suh, and you have players now that are kind of like, I don't want to say like bandwagon players, because they basically look and say, I'm going to a team where I can just win a Super Bowl. And my point being is, that's great to go through and win the Super Bowl, and we look at that and say, well, why are the Cowboys doing it? But the thing I look at is this. When you win the Super Bowl with a whole bunch of guys that really just aren't tied to the franchise, they're not like homegrown talent per se, do you look at them the same way, talent-wise? Oh, thank you. Do you look at them the same way? I think, yeah. Thank you. Do you look at them the same way as you do with players that were there all along? You think about it. So Ndamukong Suh goes to Tampa and wins the Super Bowl there. Is he looked upon the same way as Warren Sapp, who played his whole career there, playing, 2 years? Do you look at a guy like Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr. as, Ram players? Do you look at them as, great Ram players that were only there for half a season and then go? And this whole thing, for me, make no mistake about it, winning the Super Bowl is the ultimate prize. But does it mean as much when you literally just go out and you buy a Super Bowl, as opposed to drafting those guys, develop? Yeah. Shrimp salad sandwich. Trying some of the food here. Does it mean the same thing as opposed to seeing these guys and knowing that they are Dallas Cowboy players? A guy like DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a Dallas Cowboy player. A guy like Dak Prescott, he's a Dallas Cowboy player. If you go through, if you're an Eagles right now, and you bring in DeAndre Hopkins, and some of the players that you have, and keep them there for 1 year, are they really Eagle players? Or are they just hired assassins? And that's the real question that I have for you guys is, how do you feel about that? Is that the way football should be, that it's just a bunch of assassins, mercenaries that come in to win? Or should it be that the team builds a team by actually going out and drafting and developing and making these players? Any thoughts on that, honey? No thoughts? Okay. All right. I'm going to have a bite of my shrimp sandwich.
Is that what you meant by a salad?
Shrimp salad sandwich. It's okay.
surprise at first.
All right. You let me know. What are your thoughts? Should the Dallas Cowboys go out and just try and buy a Super Bowl? And will it mean as much to you as if they did? What?
You'd be happy that they won a Super Bowl. You wouldn't care.
Yeah, but I might have to put an asterisk by it. It's the new era. You're saying no? Huh? Oh, I'd be like an Eagle fan talking smack. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'd talk a whole bunch of smack and say we won it. But I will dare say that the Cowboys, as opposed to building a whole roster, which they haven't, out of a few mercenaries, if you're getting a Dion coming, okay, that's one thing. But if you're like the Eagles now, they're like literally every player that's a free agent, they're out there, oh, let's get that guy, let's get that guy, let's get that guy. And the players that you drafted aren't really there. You're just kind of like collecting and making an all-star team.
Sometimes you see holes in the team and you say, well, we need this and we need that. So how's that different?
If there's holes, yes, but if you're making a whole team that's an all-star team, in essence, that's what the Rams did.
A dream team.
A dream team competing against other teams that aren't?
Huh?
Dream teams as opposed to teams that aren't able to do the same thing? All right. I guess maybe I look at things differently, but we'll see. I look forward to seeing your comments, and we'll hopefully look forward to seeing if the Wi-Fi works on this ship. I'll see you guys. See you.